Welcome back, Enemies of the Fire, and we're here to talk all things MLS. Did you guys see anything cool this weekend at
Cool?
all?
I don't know about cool.
Not
But
cool.
in the last couple hours, the Portland Timbers have terminated their corporate partnership with DaBella. The Portland Timbers, and this is a message from RCITD, the Portland Timbers have terminated the club's corporate partnership with DaBella, effective immediately after learning yesterday of allegations of misconduct at the company, included in a court filing that was made public on February 23rd. Funny story about that. This is an aside. I got an article here from November 17th detailing a lot of the concerns. So it's kind of interesting that they're like,
Oh, that's right. I forgot the fans freaked out when they announced it.
right. So there's
Oh my
articles
God,
I'm reading here from the Herald News. Just talking about, I'll read that here in a second, but back to the Portland communication. The Timbers and a third-party firm conducted a thorough pre-deal vetting process, and the club did not learn of the filing until February 27th of this year.
So basically, someone pulled off a Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah, what did Vince get away with?
No, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Oh man, it's scary.
It's
not good.
hold on.
NBA?
Since it came up. R.I.P. Virgil. I don't know the man's real name, but the wrestler guy passed away.
Oh, that's sad.
Anyway, go ahead.
I'm a fan of wrestling. It sounds like we got some secret fans of wrestling on here. This decision was rooted in the responsibility we have to our fans, supporters, partners, and employees to transparently reflect and uphold the values and expectations of our community. It was a few months too late for some fans, but couple days right on time once they really learn. Here's what in a corporate world is like. You can't go by hearsay. You got to wait for the ink to settle, so to speak. The ink settled and it was not good. So boom, partnership severed between Timbers and DaBella. It makes me wonder about the Chicago Fire and Carvana.
Oh man, you want to open that can of worms?
Well, there's more to this DaBella thing, and it goes in. They talk about how Portland was really failing to attract any suitors after Alaskan Airlines had left. And Alaskan Airlines is like 25 times the money of DaBella and stuff. So like that fact that nobody bigger or near bigger or smaller than Alaska Airlines was looking at this deal shows that for some reason something shrank with the Timbers front of their chest. It makes me wonder about the Chicago Fire in that same light with Carvana and the limitations. Why is Boeing?
Here's the thing.
Why is it not Boeing?
Here's the thing. Portland signed a mom and pop shop, all right, as a sponsor. The Fire signed an infamous used car vendor.
Right.
National.
Hey, they help a lot of people, but they apparently screw some people too.
So apparently,
supposedly.
So my thing is this.
Allegedly.
So the CEO of DaBella was involved in some very, very bad stuff. With the lawsuit going on and everything, and it's unfortunate that things like that happen. Now, my thought is, couldn't the company take steps to remove him off that post and have a conversation with Portland and say, hey.
Now you're getting into things that I have not been caught up on this whatsoever. I would have no way of knowing any of that stuff. It's just,
I believe it's like a VP or something. It
was the CEO. I did see that because I checked it right before we came on. But so the plan apparently is to go with no sponsor, right?
I believe so. They're dropping DaBella, who's a home improvement contractor. Many who were unfamiliar with the company took to search engines to find out more back in November of 2023, landing in places like Reddit, Yelp, and the Better Business Bureau website. One is likely to find a breadth of negative views, concerns about the business owner's past ventures, and ethical questions. But what does that mean in the broader context, and why did the Timbers enter a partnership with a company with so much negativity swirling around online, particularly given the club itself is trying to repair its reputation following years of off-field scandal?
So if I'm hearing this correctly, they were desperate. And what you're suggesting is that the Chicago Fire were also desperate and we're like, oh, this shady car company, dope.
And they're not. We can't call. I wouldn't say they're shady, but they've done shady things.
Well, don't they?
So wouldn't that not qualify as being shady?
Yeah, I would think so. Yes,
right? Allegedly.
Didn't they need to go to court just to get him to do business in the state of Illinois?
Well, yeah, there's a current injunction that is allowing them to do business.
That's why I'm looking at this. That's why I'm looking at this. Like,
so you think I'm gonna get my dream confetti kit again? We're gonna get the Carvana ripped off the front before the end of the year.
It might get rare. It might become rare.
It would be weird for the Fire to have a team sponsor that cannot do business in the state of Illinois.
Right.
That would be interesting.
I mean, we appealed to Iowa and Wisconsin and Indiana as well, right?
Yeah. Let me continue at least this next line here. The answer to what the question is of whether or not they're deserving of questioning this company is more complicated than what appears on the surface. While the Timbers declined the Oregon Live's request, this is the article I'm reading from the heraldnews.com, to address these concerns, industry experts made it clear there is more nuance to the situation with DiBella than the internet might present.
So there's more dirt.
There's either more dirt or there's more money.
Oh.
So my thing is this: like, first of all, Portland didn't take the proper steps to vet their sponsors. Like, they should have really dug deep in here and find out what's going on. Second of all, can the company just replace the CEO and say, "Hey, we moved on"? Pull off basically like a Papa John situation.
I mean, it depends. It depends on that. But you did bring up Papa John's. That guy was pretty entangled into that business, but I guess it depends. I mean, were you saying they're a general contractor, or were you saying they're
a home improvement contractor, according to the article?
Yeah, see, so that it could be sole ownership type of stuff.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of, levels within the corporate ladder, so to speak.
Guys, it makes me wonder about this. How hard is it in this particular day and age to find a corporate sponsor on your shirt that is guilt-free or, kind of free of sin, so to speak? Because God forbid if Chicago Fire had Chick-fil-A on their jerseys. How much consternation would that cause for fans of Harold's Chicken?
I mean,
there is multiple reasons why I would not be a fan of that.
I mean, there's certain people that want to die in that hill.
Chicken in this house.
No chicken. Oh man, R.I.P. Skinny Butcher. I don't know what happened, but they closed down. Used to taste exactly like Chick-fil-A.
Dude, Harold's is legit. That's where I go.
I mean, in a city like Chicago, especially with a lot of companies having their HQs here.
Yeah, Purdue. That's gross. Don't do it.
That you would think it shouldn't be that hard for the Fire to find a sponsorship in the city of Chicago. I understand Portland. You really got to dig. You really got to.
Doesn't that seem?
But
weird,
it doesn't matter
DPG?
where you are. Like, Fly Emirates sponsors Arsenal or whoever, right?
Okay, but you're talking about a Premier League team. We're talking about Portland here. If they had to settle for like a mom and pop shop, that means that there was not a whole lot of options on the table for them to take up a sponsorship.
Honestly, if I was like the biggest florist in America, I would have gone after the Portland Timbers. Like, imagine you're like a florist and you're like mom and pop's florist. That would be great.
Yeah,
but like, they don't got billions and millions of dollars to pay for this corporate sponsorship, so like they're not even on the table. It's smaller type corporations like Valspar.
Well,
and Topps trading cards.
Well, it's got to make sense.
Company,
why
True.
It's got to sell to people. Like,
right.
There's a reason. Like,
it's got to have.
There's a
value.
reason. Like, Valspar didn't work because it's paint. Like, you just buy paint when you need to paint. Like, you're not out here like, oh man,
On the sponsorship side, well, here's the thing. From the sponsorship side, if I remember correctly, they actually gave the supporter groups like painting stuff to do their banners.
That is cool, though. I will say that.
From that point, it works. But You're right. They just sell paint. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can offer, your normal regular fans that are not supporter groups.
So
it's not like Quaker.
One thing we often, what happened to Quaker? Quaker wasn't feeling the value enough to stay around. So
that was a good partnership, it seemed.
But it didn't last, and that's my wondering. Also, I wonder how much benefit a Portillo's would go, because first of all, it's not healthy. So you got people going like, "Oh, you're selling hot dogs and death," but everybody, I think a lot of people would be like, "That's fucking this part of my French. That's the sweetest freaking jersey. Give me a Portillo's."
If I'm gonna take off my capitalism is bad hat,
yes,
and put it down,
I love it.
It would make sense on a business level, because you can tell that since it's been sold, they're spreading out slowly to make it like still hip instead of just like across the nation. So it's just like, but they're trying to go nationwide.
No.
So that would be
guys,
the perfect.
We are making a horrible mistake right now talking about these small time. The fact that Chicago Fire does not have McDonald's on their jersey, to me, is the biggest number one sign that they don't give a fuck, they don't care, and they'll never matter in the city of Chicago.
You
get McDonald's on your kit.
It's McDonald's,
You
bro.
get McDonald's on your kit. It's the number one employer in Chicago. It's the number one employer in the world. Don't come at me. It's also the number one company headquartered in Chicago outside of Boeing. Get McDonald's on here, and LeBron James is coming to Chicago Fire. I guarantee you he will munch a Big Mac, yum, 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 straight on the middle of Soldier Field, and he'll look around and be like, I never thought I'd be marching in MJ's footsteps. Yum, 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 yum.
Do you think they'd even get into the office at Oak Brook Terrace? Doug, I used to, like, when I was first starting out my career, I kind of worked under a guy who did a lot of business with McDonald's over there. And like, I'm talking a lot of business. Like, you should notice him, not like, you should be like, oh yeah, come on in, say hi. They would never see him, not once. They're like, we don't want you around, go away. Like, do you think the Fire are getting that meeting?
Nope.
Yeah, doesn't Miguel Navarro work there after they made some connections?
Wow.
Guys, come on. We're thinking small here. It's freaking McDonald's.
Maybe McDonald's is a little too high.
Bring back that chick who really liked hockey and tennis, who was the president of the Fire, and let her matriculate with the people of McDonald's.
Wait, is she not still the president?
No.
She
left.
Dude, she's doing tennis or something now. I don't know.
Well, here's this. What about this? Maybe not McDonald's. Maybe Vienna
allegedly.
Beef.
Well, yeah. I mean, or you've got plenty of nationwide brands that headquarters here.
No, got so many. I'm looking at McDonald's, ConAgra brands. I know you guys know what it is. Kraft Heinz, of course. I
know what ConAgra is.
Oh, you do? I didn't know that. So I didn't. That was me. Mead Johnson Nutrition. Is that Johnson & Johnson? I know Johnson & Johnson. Talk. These are
Vienna
names.
Beef,
Grubhub, Home Chef, Double Good, Pampered Chef, Kitchen. These are all okay. Those were our food companies. GE Healthcare, Motorola, GoGo, Active Campaign, Avant.
We already had Motorola.
Yeah, we had Motorola.
Manufacturing, Tropicana, Little Fuse, Quaker, Mondelez, Armstead.
Holy shit, Little Fuse is from here?
Little Fuse is second on the list. I'm looking at top 12.
Okay,
it's according to Indeed.com.
Let me say this.
Morton Salt.
Maybe.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
That is I'm sorry, I'm freaking out here. Like, think about that.
How did I not think about that? I live right by the
Salt not on our jersey?
Well,
that would be the meme of the century.
Let me say this.
Get Salt Bay out here.
Maybe we cannot get McDonald's and Boeing.
1 minute on the clock, boys.
Right now. Maybe we can't get those guys right now. Let's see what happens after the World Cup.
Well, if MLS doesn't keep shooting itself in the foot, they're going to squander this opportunity, I fear. I think that's what that mafia-style meeting was in Miami with Don Garber.
It's an emergency meeting, boys. Let's talk about that when we come back here on Spit and Fire. We got a little bit more MLS stuff to get into before we break into Chicago Fire. Thanks for hanging out here on Enemies of the Fire. Make sure you guys punt that like button like you're a goalie and you're trying to get it to your striker in the last few seconds of the game so you guys could score the goal. And we'll see you on the other side.